But still, definitely need more details on the skin. I mean, it looks very much better than it did, but I'm trying to push for more. So something that I will provide you are brushes, skin brushes that I have in my personal collection. So the way to load these brushes is you have to find your ZBrush in the applications, right here, my ZBrush, and then in ZBrushes folder you just take the brushes that I provided you and drag and drop it into here. After that is done, then when you open your light box in brush pad, they are right there. So there's a couple of these here. As you can see, they're pretty cool. What I want to talk about though are these three brushes: this JH Pore, this Skin Surface, and this Fine Wrinkles brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this brush and click and drag, and you can see that it creates pores, which is great. And sometimes I'm gonna lower the intensity. So sometimes when I sculpt and I sculpt pores like this, I sometimes think, oh geez, it's really kind of pretty intense. Like, it looks kind of almost out of place, right? Dragging and dropping. But if I look at my reference photos, for example this one, and I zoom into it, you can see that there are pores, like pretty visible pores on this actor specifically. And if you look in the mirror, unfortunately, you will also see a lot of pores, and that with age they kind of get a little worse. So there are little tiny bits of pores everywhere on his face, and they are more prominent on the nose, on the forehead, on the chin. So really you gotta look at your reference and kind of try to mimic it. I'm going to overlay this image. That looks like all of them are overlaying, which is okay. I'm just gonna scoot these to the side and just kind of work up this one. So, just a rough reference of how big the pores are and where. So here I'm trying to match that. So I can see that the ones I put up. All right, I also need to say always on top of this. Yeah. All right, so let's see. They're about this size, I would say. I think that's pretty spot on. Maybe I'll do intensity 11. Yeah, all right. Well, I think that's pretty spot on. So now I need to try to make sure that all of the pores are roughly the same size. I'm just clicking and dragging. I'm kind of gonna go through this pretty quickly, so don't judge me about how precise this is gonna be, but okay. Let's see here on top as well. So, alright, so here on top of the nose, I can see that the pores are way less intense. So I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of them. Right up here, and I'm gonna just continue doing this and varying the intensity depending on where on the face I am. All right. The next brush I want to show you is, again, we can go in to Lightbox, and they should be loaded already, is this skin surface brush. So it works similarly to the other brush, except instead of dragging it in, you can kind of draw with it and you can see the effect that it creates. So similarly as with the other brush, you can vary the intensity of it and the size. Skin on our face is not very smooth, so this brush kind of helps accentuate that. So I'm adding some detail here on the cheeks. I have symmetry on for this part because, you know, it's going to be very hard to tell that it's completely symmetrical. And the last brush I want to show you is this fine wrinkles brush. So it works very similar to the others. You can see, I'll show it to you. So this is what it looks like when it's big. Like that. So you can add fine wrinkles. So same thing as previously, the intensity matters and the size matters. If the size is really small, you can see how the wrinkles look very small. If the size is bigger, you get much more defined, larger area wrinkles. So I'm gonna use this mainly, you know, for areas around the eyes and mouth. Really focus on the face part of it. So I'm gonna start with very low intensity, pretty low brush size, and just very lightly So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna say that this is a finished model. If I were to work on it, I'd probably spend a couple more hours doing this and perfecting it, you know, because the more time you spend on it, the better it's gonna look at the end. And now that I'm saying this, I'm gonna actually take and move his nose up just a little bit, because I think that's gonna give us a little more believability. There we go. It's a little unsymmetrical, but I think now looks a little bit better. All right, so yeah, that's all. You can see the details that we're left with are pretty good, and our model has many polygons. It's 40 million. That is a lot. So as you can imagine, Substance Painter, the normal maps are going to come very in handy for this. So that's going to be our next tutorial.